base mode.
How you going, everyone? No one? I don't think anyone's gonna watch this. 50 sub special. Let's get into it. All right. I lied a little bit, just a little bit. I'll still review him, but I was gonna do a review on Unicron, the Studio Cell 01 Unicron, as my 50 subscriber special, but he kind of scares me, and saw the opportunity of getting my hands on Omega Prime. This is a big box. I was expecting him to be the size of Unicron himself. I wanted to get my hands on this guy for quite a while, and here he is. Isn't he amazing? Doesn't he look fantastic? I think I overestimated the size of the guy though, because I was expecting him to be a lot bigger. Saying that, he is pretty cool. I'd say, not going off of Unicron, this guy is a bit expensive. Actually, more expensive than Unicron, surprisingly. Even though he is one of the most fun toys I've played with. Granted, I will talk about that more in a sec. Let's get into the video. First of all, the first half of him, Optimus Prime, that is the most fun toy I've ever played with, to be honest. The actual play feel of him, specifically the amount of little articulate bits that work together to make his figure feel really solid. He's very strong. Fantastic. And then you put the extra little bits, which are just sitting around, by the way. They don't actually go on to the final Omega Prime. It's a little bit weird. I would have integrated them somehow, but they don't. The whole figure feels great. That's how you put him together. Ultra Magnus is kind of shit. They put all of their money into Optimus Prime and then went, fuck it, we spent all of our money on Optimus Prime. Let's just do the bare minimum on Ultra Magnus, because he just parts forms onto the big guy. Looks great. I will say that. The whole figure all together looks fantastic, but I prefer the Optimus Prime altogether. If I could get the Optimus Prime on its own, in its separate figure altogether, fantastic. Do I think this figure altogether is worth $650? No. $650 is quite a lot for a figure. It's very hollow. Specifically the Ultra Magnus. He's very hollow. The back of the legs is nothing. The inside of his neck, nothing. Optimus Prime is a solid figure. I'd say if he was sold on his own, maybe $200. Not even that. There's better figures you can get for way less, like this guy here. I'd say he's about the same size, actually. Yeah, he's about the same size as Optimus Prime and Omega Prime. And he was like, actually can't remember, but I'll put the price up here. And he turns into a smaller figure. And he has a trailer. And it's great. $600, it's more so you're getting shafted for the price of the figure more than anything. And the figure itself isn't that bad. Sword is probably the only thing that pushes it past $200 because what the fuck. You get a lot with it. I understand that. Articulation is great. The joints are fantastic. The fact that there's barely any paint on it makes him very playable and something that I would actually flip back and forth compared to a lot of the masterpieces that I'm terrified to transform. Specifically, Soundwave right there and Megatron over there. I don't recommend getting this figure at all for the price tag, especially when you look at the aftermarket. I was lucky enough to find this one on retail. Aftermarket's double the price. And it's not worth double the price. It's not even worth $650. Let me be a little nicer. Granted, I will give this figure some props, but it doesn't get to keep props for very fucking long. If you look at the price of Jinrai over here, is not that expensive in retrospect. I think he would have been altogether $400. And he's two figures that fold into one. Is it two? Two figures with an extra figure that fold into one, and it's fairly fucking tall. It looks great, but the downside is the joint tolerances. Barely ever wants to stay together, and that goes for Jinrai himself. I like Jinrai. Jinrai is great, but the problem with Jinrai personally is that the joint tolerances are fucking horrible, especially for the price. I guess if you really wanted to be devil advocate here, the $650 that you pay for this figure is well spent because everything tabs together. He is solid as fuck. This is the look. He's solid. Like nothing's going anywhere. This is one of the best feeling figures I have ever held. I don't feel like I'm gonna break him at all, which is impressive, especially for the price. Like nothing fell off. Nothing. That is unheard of on the masterpiece level of figures. Even the most recent Haslabs. Not most recent, I wouldn't count those ones. I haven't seen anything about those. But you're telling me that for that price, you can get a figure that tabs together so well. And that's for every mode. Nothing falls apart. Even the Ultra Magnus that feels like shit doesn't fall apart. You can shake him for as long as you want. Eventually, something will fall off, but it's holding. It's holding, which is impressive. It is impressive. I have to give him that. I have to point that out. Granted, the sword does not feel good. It feels very flimsy. I will definitely say, if you can find him in secondhand, like way cheaper, yes. If you can find Optimus on his own, get him. No questions asked. That is a solid fucking figure. Of course, you will need both halves of him because the other half of him completes his alt mode. That's a bit parts for me. I understand that. Articulation, it's kind of shit. Look, okay, granted, it's good. It can hold poses and stuff like that. But the ankles don't go any further than this. You can't get him in any dynamic poses, especially going off of the figure I just did, which is Magic Square Lighter Piece. When you look at his figure, fantastic. Megatron even, pretty good. But I don't know why. It's like every fucking Takara Tomy or Haslab or Hasbro or whatever it is, their figures can't turn their fucking ankles. Granted, there are some that can, but most of the time they're fucking terrible. Like I still think that's one of the best designs I've ever seen of Optimus Prime. It looks fantastic. Thank you for watching. I think I'm done. I will see you guys in the next video, and if I can get to 100 subscribers, maybe, just maybe, I will do Unicron. See ya.